How's it going, everybody? It's Keagan here. I'm back with another video for you guys, and it's time for another movie review once again. And today it's going to be a solo movie we're going to be talking about. And today's film we're going to be talking about is the 1999 film Magnolia. This movie was written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, one of my favorite directors. And this film was originally released on December 25th, 1999, so that was, of course, Christmas Day of that year. Now, I've actually been wanting to review this movie for quite some time. I've seen this movie 3 times. The most recent time I saw it was actually at my favorite theater last weekend. It was my favorite theater was doing a screening of it, and I had a really good time seeing it in the theater. More on that later. Now, Magnolia is the third film from Paul Thomas Anderson that he has directed. His previous films he's made before this one were Hard Eight from 1996 and Boogie Nights from 1997, which is one of my all-time favorite movies and one that I reviewed on this channel 2 years ago. Now, at the time of when this video was made, Magnolia is the longest film from Paul Thomas Anderson that he's made. It has a runtime of 3 hours and 8 minutes and was nominated for 3 Oscars, including Best Supporting Actor for Tom Cruise. And after watching this movie a third time, I can't decide if it's my number one favorite from Paul Thomas Anderson or maybe tied with Boogie Nights. I can't decide. They're both truly fantastic films. But yeah. So as always, we'll go into the storyline and then we'll get into my thoughts on it. So let's take a dive into Magnolia. Now, Magnolia has several different storylines, and they all take place over the course of a single day in Los Angeles. And it's told in the perspective of 9 different characters. One of the characters is a cop, played by John C. Reilly, who investigates a disturbance at an apartment building, and he falls in love with the lady in the apartment, who is a drug addict, and he takes her out on a date. And there's another character played by Tom Cruise who's like a spokesperson. There's like a speaker at a seminar for men who struggle with dating and that kind of thing. And then you got a dying man and a nurse. The nurse is played by the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, and the dying man is played by the late Jason Robards. And I believe this was actually Jason Robards' last film before he passed away the following year, or maybe it was his second last, I can't remember. The dying man is trying to reunite with his long lost son, who happens to be the Tom Cruise character, and the dying man's wife, played by Julianne Moore, has a lot of guilt going on because she's done some bad things throughout the marriage. And then you got a former game show contestant from the 60s who was smart as a kid, but then when he got struck by lightning, his life went downhill, and he's trying to get some money to pay off the debt for his surgery because he plans on getting braces. Another story character in the film is a young contestant of a game show who is like the smartest kid in the whole room, who is under a lot of pressure. And then you got the host of the game show who's trying to reconnect with his daughter, who happens to be the coke addict who the cop took out on a date. And without giving away too much of the film, that's basically all the characters and the storylines of the film in a nutshell. Now, this movie is fantastic. I remember the first time I watched it, which was 2 years ago. I owned the movie on Blu-ray. I remember watching it for the first time, and I was completely blown away by it. Like, this movie is fantastic. The characters are really well written. The music is really good. And I also like how some of the music carries on. Some of the music carries on through most of the film, depending on the scene, which is pretty cool. And then another aspect I like about it is, like, during the last half, well, a portion of the last half, there's no music at all between certain scenes. Specifically, the scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman's character and Jason Robards' character have a discussion about regret in life. And the music is just really, really well done. And the songs by Amy Mann, like there's like 3 of her songs that are in this movie that actually go really well with the film. And all the performances in this film are fantastic, especially including the performance from Tom Cruise, which in my opinion this might be Tom Cruise's best performance ever, in my opinion at least. But everyone else in the film did fantastic. And the film is long. It's 3 hours and 8 minutes, but there is not 1 minute during that whole runtime where it feels like it drags on for too long. I thought the whole movie was perfect. Like the whole movie keeps you engaged for the whole 3 hour runtime. And I know there's some people that compare this movie to another film called Shortcuts, which came out in 1993. I have seen that movie once a couple years ago, but I don't really remember too much about it. But I do know some of the similarities with that movie and Magnolia. Both movies came out in the 90s. They have the exact same runtime, and they both have a big name cast. And Julianne Moore is actually in both films. And I don't know, and they both have cop characters, but they have completely different personalities. I'll definitely do a review of Shortcuts one of these days. That's a great movie. But as for Magnolia, it's a fantastic film, and I highly recommend it. And as I mentioned earlier, after watching it a third time, if I haven't said this already, I can't decide if this movie is my favorite P.T. Anderson movie or tied with Boogie Nights. They're both truly fantastic films. But overall, Magnolia is a fantastic film, and I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. And it definitely shows that 1999 is one of the greatest years for movies, or maybe the greatest year for movies of all time, depending on who you ask. But I love this film. Definitely check it out. And I will definitely do a review of Shortcuts one of these days. That's another great film too. Anyways, I don't have anything else to add, so I'm giving Magnolia a 10 out of 10. Alright everybody, that's going to be it for this video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment below, and subscribe. And what are your thoughts on this movie, and which movie do you think is better, Magnolia or Shortcuts? Let me know in the comment section below. But anyways guys, that's all I gotta say, so thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And yeah, take care everybody. Peace out. Bye bye.